We're going to call this name, George.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, I will start off with roll call. Once I state your jurisdiction, if you could state your name, that would be great. I'll start with Benton-Franklin Transit. I see you're muted, but okay. Benton County,
Evan Slaggers.
Benton
Well,
City.
that's missed my turn.
Oh, no problem. City of Connell. Henry, did you say Benton County? Yep.
Do you want to do a quick introduction of our new TAC member?
Yes, okay. Sorry about that, Christina. Christina is joining to represent Benton County to kind of fill in for Matt. And so we look forward to working with her throughout the TAC and beyond.
Yeah, sorry, this is Matt. I was gonna kind of make an announcement at the end during member comments, but since we're there, yeah, I just wanted everybody to know that Christina has been promoted to assistant county engineer. And she's gonna be taking over the TAC and various other duties that I've been doing as we work to get her all the way up to the county engineer level here. So just wanted to make sure everyone knew who she was and enjoyed working with you. It won't be the last I see any of you. I know we have a lot of things going on, but Christina will be the day-to-day for TAC issues. So
I'll do better during attendance next time.
All good. Well, welcome to Christina and thank you for everything, Matt. All right, moving on to the city of Kennewick.
Yeah, Heath Malott for Kennewick.
City of Pasco.
Maria Seta.
City of Prosser.
Marty Jerome.
City of Richland.
Carlo D'Alessandro.
City of West Richland.
Roscoe Slade.
Franklin County.
Craig Erdman.
Port of Benton. Port of Kennewick. Port of Pasco. And Washtenaw South Central.
Phil Nugent.
Awesome. You have a forum.
Perfect. So with the roll call completed, we're moving on to item 3, public comment. Do you have any public comment here in the room or online? Okay, we see here in the room. Please introduce yourself and
Yeah, just very briefly, since I came in late, I'm sorry about that, Sarah. And I'm Mac Funkin, a board member for Bike Tri-Cities. And moved back to this area last year. I worked for the Port of Pasco in the 80s and 90s. Thank you very much for the time.
thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we're gonna move on to item number 4, approval of agenda. Looking for a motion.
Move to approve as presented. Marty with City of Prosser.
Second, Phil. Watchdot.
Perfect, now we will take a vote. Everybody, all of you, in support, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, passes unanimously. So we'll move on to item 5, minutes from previous meetings. That's the meeting from February 5th, 2026. And again, looking for a motion.
So moved, Phil.
Second, Craig, Franklin County.
Thank you. And we'll take a vote on this item as well. All of us in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And it passes unanimously. Are there any comments or notes related to this? I did not ask that at the beginning, so I'm just making sure. There were no corrections needed. Okay. Hearing none, we keep on moving. Item number 6, this is action items. Item A, within 6A, is RTP 2050 regional metrics, and that is Aaron's item.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, everybody. So as a quick refresher about our RTP 2050 regional metrics. So the RTP, our Regional Transportation Plan, provides a performance-based framework for the region to achieve our transportation goals and assessing transportation projects. This is a state and federal requirement that we have to have performance measures within the plan. Last month, just as a quick refresher, we brought to all of you and then to our board the WashDOT safety performance measures. That is one example of what we have already been reporting on, but it is not contextualized to our region, and it is a very broad metric. So with the context of that, we moved forward in having discussions about making it more contextualized to our region. So the RTP identifies and establishes regional goals and objectives that is completed with consistency with local comprehensive plans and the Washington State Transportation Plan. So with that in mind, we adopted these 9 goals in December. We had a discussion in December, we had a discussion in January. We tabled it for a little bit about how the metrics would be related back to these goals. I have been encouraged in sitting in on the city of Pasco's, the city of Kennewick's, and the city of Richland's transportation system master plans or transportation system plans, that this same type of methodology is being incorporated. They might not be the exact words or buckets, but they are synonyms to what we were talking about. So it's good to see that our language is consistent at the regional level to the county level and then down to the jurisdictional level. So just as a refresher for each one of these goals and within your TAC packet, there are specific goals tied to each one of metrics tied to each one of the 9 goals, with them being weighted more if they scored higher. So for example, safety has a higher weight than say stewardship, 1 versus 9. That's outlined within your packet. So last time we talked about this, it was presented to the TAC members and staff was then tasked with, all right, come back to us with a more fleshed out idea, and then we'll move forward with adoption and seeing where we're at. So that's what these slides will entail, is the information within your TAC packet. And then if there are any additional metrics that you would like added onto any of the regional metrics, please let me know. Last time you saw some of these metrics, they were double counted. So for example, if the project's on a regional bicycle plan, that was listed under several different items. That duplicative nature has been removed. So it's only listed under one item, the one that it would be most appropriate with. All right, with that, we will get right into it. So number 1 is safety, and the metrics under that are, is the project on the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan high injury network? The regional accident rate, so that's vehicle and pedestrian and bicyclists per vehicle miles traveled. And then the regional rate of fatal or serious accidents. That's vehicle and pedestrian and bicyclists. Any questions about safety?
This is the COGS CSAP, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
All right, seeing no questions, move forward. I'll say to Carlos' question or kind of statement, the theme with the regional metrics is that it's tied to a lot of our regional plans that have already been adopted. So just wanted that to be. Next is integration and connectivity. So is the project on a congestion management process corridor? Is the project on the regional bicycle network? Same with the regional pedestrian network that was adopted in February. Is it on the Safe Routes to School network? So those are the 4 different options, adding up to 16 points. And I'll go back Safety is 20 points, this is 16, we're gonna see that it will decrease the amounts as we go. Any questions or comments? If not, we will keep moving. Alright. Next one is mobility and accessibility, 15 points. So, does the project increase or improve access to a transit stop or center? And that's based on within a quarter mile. Access to population centers, so this is based upon the US Census blocks of high, medium, and low. This will be contextualized to our region. So, or we could do TAZs, that was the other thought, but it's TAZs are only within the urbanized area, so that's why we're going with census blocks. Access to employment centers, this is based upon TAZ employment data. And then access to activity centers, this was the metric that was used within our call for projects, and that was the map that was included with your TAC packet as well. One more metric that I want to propose here, and this is something that I saw within the city of Richland's plan, is adding something specifically for equity and having that be tied to the WashDOT Sandy Williams criteria, as a lot of jurisdictions are using that criteria to apply for different.
Any thoughts on that?
This Phil, I'll just quickly state that I am supposed to be looking into other ways or maps or databases for equity measurements, for lack of better terms, for Richland. So once I have that information for Richland, I'll share it for this group as well.
That would be great, Phil. Would there be any opposition from the group of adding a metric based upon Phil's research? So adding a bullet point here that is, we'll say equity criteria, and that would make everything 3 points.
We're not hearing any opposition.
Sorry, I mean, I was just gonna comment on, it's good to see that transit's weighted as much as it is, but I would be fine with moving 3 points to equity, because I think that is important as well.
Okay. Thank you for that, Kevin. Moving on to number 4 then. All right, this is economic vitality. Economic vitality is the project located on a FGTS corridor classified 1 through 4, and then average daily traffic. So, and this is broken down from urban large, rural, and urban small. So there are going to be different weights of a project located in rural Franklin County is not competing at the same ADT volumes as, say, a urban Pasco, but they will be scaled appropriately. And what you have in the TAC packet is the scales that were done within the last call for projects.
Okay.
All right. Sweet, preservation maintenance. That's based upon the federal functional classification of the roadway. Within the call for projects, we had pavement condition index, but as here at the COG staff, we are not experts at pavement condition index rating. This is something that we can do on a larger scale, and that is why this is being proposed. Any questions on preservation and maintenance?
So, I have a question.
Yes.
So is there any indicator in this ranking for the actual condition and the way that the deterioration is happening for that corridor? Would it be qualitative or you know, we won't have PCIs, as you're
Yeah.
saying. We are relying on just federal classification, but you can have a really high federal classification, super important, but really be doing this too early, be doing this too late. Based on the condition, so tell me more about how we're gonna think about the condition of this.
Yes, something that was thought about, and I'll say that what was thought into this is there is no way for us to know between now and 2050 the condition of the road. So, and I believe all of you have submitted your projects already to us without this information, so we were not trying to re-ask all of you to resubmit the information with what is the current condition of the road. But yes, to your point is very valid.
What if your project has I guess doesn't have a preservation and maintenance component? Let's say you're building a new facility or widening a facility, but you're not preserving the existing facility in the same area.
That's a good question, Carlo. If a jurisdiction is building a new facility, should they be eligible to receive points within preservation and maintenance?
I mean, if it's a new facility, let's say you're building a brand new road or a brand new bridge, I guess I'd like to hear from others if you feel like you feel any different, but I don't know that it's actually considered preservation and maintenance. And so I don't know how you make the case for getting those points.
I tend to agree, Carol.
I agree, but I would like to hear other members.
Yes, absolutely.
Aaron, remind me again, this is Roscoe, City of West Richland. These scoring metrics, we used something similar for the last call for projects last year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Something similar. These have changed though from what we used in the last call.
I'll say yes and no. For the preservation and maintenance, as here at COG staff, we are not engineers as you all are. For the pavement condition index, we do not know the scores of all of your roads, and we cannot score that. So that is why we're choosing this metric as something that we can easily score down the line. All of the other categories or the metrics that are proposed within the regional metrics were used in the call for projects at some capacity.
Okay. I guess what are you going to do with these 2050 metrics? Are these going to be used for the? Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I should let you finish your question.
I just want to what are we going to use these metrics for? Is this for the next call for projects?
This is not for the next call for projects. This is for the RTP to show how projects are scored based upon the goals. So these metrics are tied to the weighting of our regional transportation goals. So I can't remember the exact number of projects off the top of my head. I'll just say 80. So there's 80 projects that will be in the RTP. They will go into the model and our different shape files based upon these metrics, and the information will then be presented back to all of the jurisdictions to say, hey, here's how your project scores in the baseline land use scenario that we've talked about, or our infill land use scenario based upon these different metrics. Historically, with the regional transportation plan, we have not put forth any of these extra metrics that we want to be assessing projects by. So we want to be able to provide an extra level of analysis that ties in with all of your comp plans, and especially the new adopted goals that trickle down to all of your plans as well.
But would this be used for annual legislative priorities?
No, there is no. This is the first time we're doing this. This is not tied to any funding or updating of our regional transportation priority list.
But more likely it would be used.
We're hoping that the process is refined in the future, yes.
Okay, because the way this is set up is a new project is going to score, and a pavement preservation project's never going to score high enough to do this. And so Carlos's example of a new road or a new bridge would get 0 under pavement preservation. That's not an existing field, that's new. But a pavement preservation project that's solely preservation is going to score poorly. And that's kind of how it's been in the region. And maybe I think I missed the last meeting when a lot of these were talked about, but we're going down the same pathway the state is with their transportation system. No pun intended, Phil, but I've sat through Todd's presentations on maintenance and preservation, and we've got that so far down the list. I guess I question the ranking or the metrics to do these points. This is all scored towards new projects, not preserving the transportation system we've got. And that's kind of been the problem at the state level, is the electeds like the nice, new, shiny projects, but don't like to fund preservation and maintenance of the system. And we're kind of following that same process. That my 2 cents.
Yeah, Rob, so that's why it is ranked number 5, is that is how the board decided it is 5 out of 9.
Because the board also likes to see new things.
Board knows what it's doing. So based upon the input received from Carlo, the one edit here would be new facilities should not receive any points within this category.
I mean, if there is no activity that is actually preserving the existing road, I think it's super fair that the project doesn't win it, right? So you're in an existing facility and you're just widening and you're not doing, say, an overlay onto the existing, it's like, yeah, you get enough points, just widen. Right? Or if you are building something brand new, you're not preserving it. But yeah.
And Aaron, you're saying you changed this because you don't have PCI stuff?
Yeah, that's correct.
And if we went back to the PCI index that's tied to what the improvement or what the project is, some cities would be able to provide that to you, but not everybody. So this is just a way to, I just don't want to see this become a set in stone, the next call for projects or whatever, that you're getting points just because of the classification of the roadway, not what the actual treatment is or what they're doing.
Correct. This, for the call for projects, this will not be the same scoring mechanism that is used.
Okay.
All right. With that, with the one edit of new facility should not receive any points. If there is no preservation, equals no points. That edit will be made. Thank you for that. That is exactly the type of feedback we're hoping to receive. All right, next one is cooperation and leadership for 10 points. Or excuse me, this should be 8 points. It is the project on the regional transportation priorities list? And then does it include more than one jurisdiction? There are no questions on this. We'll keep going. Perfect. Number 7.
I did have one question.
Go ahead, Carl.
We consider BFT jurisdiction, right? Or no?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Any ways to incorporate more collaboration with transit?
Did we use the word jurisdiction, maybe is agency?
Yeah, one agency.
Would that be more encompassing? I mean, we know where we're trying to achieve, but.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that edit will be made. Thank you for that. Since Kevin gave up points earlier, it only makes sense that he can be here.
Yes.
Next is quality of life for 7 points, and this is level of traffic stress. So does the project reduce? So that means reduce the amount of stress felt on the road. Does the roadway segment maintain or become a level of traffic stress 1? You get 7 points. That same type of methodology to level of traffic stress 2, 3, and then if the project does not change the level of traffic stress, it stays at its current points of 1. So no matter what, you will be receiving 1 point in this category.
Are you evaluating the scores, the scopes of each project to determine to which level of stress the project will get you?
Correct.
Okay.
In a facility that doesn't have like level traffic stress generally is for active modes of transportation, right? In a facility where you currently don't have any active modes and you're adding one in, what do we do in that? I mean, we're creating a new connection, which is good, where there's no level of traffic stress now because the facility doesn't exist, and then we add one in that has a LTS of 2 or 3. How does that get?
So Carlo, in that example, if I see it as 2 ways. If there is a road right now that currently does not have any pedestrian or bicycle facilities, it does have an LTS assigned to it. It could be a 3 or a 4. So if you're implementing these facilities, it more often than not will reduce it down to a 1 or a 2. If you are building a new roadway, that can still be based upon if pedestrian or bicycle facilities are present, the speed limit, the number of lanes. The only really missing piece of data that we would have is the average daily traffic, but we could use forecasted numbers from either our model or any traffic analysis that your jurisdiction has done.
Okay, I'll just use this example. Maybe COG staff can think about it. But like SR 240 Aaron, it's there's no facilities that exist today, and in fact, there's signs today that basically say no trespassing. So it is a facility. Not that it has, it doesn't even have the ability to carry bike or pedestrian traffic, and it's specifically excluded from the highway. And we're creating a project that enables it to happen. And I don't know if it's a roadway that you would just say right off the bat is LTS 4 because it's a roadway that specifically excluded any active modes of transportation on it in the first place. So that was my only guess. It's a little strange one. Maybe we just say it's LTS 4 right off the bat. But yeah.
I'll say to that example, right now it is LTS 4. With putting in the proposed pathway that you have next to it, it would drop it to an LTS 1 for that segment because it would be physically separated.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you for that.
Hey, maybe I'll jump in real quick. So if I kind of understand what he's saying, you potentially could have a project that, fully limited access control, and you're just not able to add those type of facilities. So I guess what you're saying, even if the project doesn't directly address it, if there are adjacent facilities, say outside of that limited access or, either existing or planned, then would that change the scoring here? If that makes sense?
I'm understanding your question correctly, Phil. Using 240 as the example, if you go north on 240, say at Swift and 240, there's that shelter belt that runs along the side of it. That's currently classified as a level of traffic stress 1. The part of the roadway segment that Carlos talking about is classified as a level of traffic stress 4 because there is no facilities present. there are going to be facilities present, so then they would be scored based upon the facilities that will be there.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
But let me circle back on that.
Yeah.
But if you have a project in an area where today it's limited access, so it's actually classified as 4,
Mhm.
and your project does not do anything
Mhm.
to improve that level of stress, you just don't get found in this type.
You get one point.
Alright.
All right, environment, number 8. Does the project reduce vehicle miles traveled? This is, will be scored using our model, and then this ties straight to all of your comprehensive plans, with the climate element as well. All right, any questions? If not, we got one more. Last one, stewardship. This is using our child demand model, and this is existing peak hour condition. And this is V/C ratio. And I guess the only caveat here is, if the project is outside of the urbanized area, based upon what we had for the call for projects, the highest score that they could receive is a 1. I don't know if that would like to be changed, so that would be a 1 out of 6 points. And then, if the project increases transit operations, it does receive 4 points here. Those were the metrics used in the call for projects. We can continue with those, but if there's any questions or comments, very glad to change them.
Is that like a double impact to rural areas, because maybe they don't already have transit, and then they're also not. It's like they have like it's a double opportunity to miss points, so to speak.
Yeah, and that would be, maybe the, none of the above shouldn't be 1, it should be 3. So then it would still be half of the amount that they could receive within this area. The most points possible to receive within this category is 6. Go ahead, Carlo.
Yeah. So it's existing peak hour condition. So it's today, if you have a high V/C, then you get the most points you can, right? And it's not the improvement to V/C.
It is based upon the improvement.
The
So
improvement.
it will be, correct. It will be based, so whatever today is, does it reduce it down to one of these categories, or does it stay the same?
So it's the delta in V/C that you're scoring, not the existing.
Or the projected one.
Correct. Correct to what you said, Carlo, and correct to what Maria said.
Okay.
All right, so before you is a motion, but I just want to do a quick recap on the things that we said that we would change. So what we had for under, we have notes on 2 different pieces of paper. Under mobility and accessibility, we are adding an equity criteria based upon Phil's research. That will be for 3 points, and reducing access to transit down to 3 points, keeping that total for 15. Next thing we said we were going to do is under the preservation and maintenance, new facilities will not receive any points. So if the project has no preservation components, it receives 0 points. BFT is classified as one of the jurisdictions, and language will be changed to agency. And that was all that I had. So with those changes, there is a motion in front of you for recommending the adoption of the RTP 2050 regional metrics.
I'll move to recommend the adoption of the RTP 2050 regional metrics as amended by Aaron.
Second.
Thank you. Both. All in favor say aye.
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 All, any opposing say nay. Okay, and passes unanimously. Okay, now we move on to items listed under 7, reports and discussion items. So we're gonna go with the first item 7A, federal fiscal year 2026 obligation status. All right,
Perfect. All right, so on to the fun stuff. We're getting closer to that April crunch time, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but the purpose behind the obligation status is to ensure that projects obligate and the region meets their target each federal fiscal year. We are attending a fiscal constraint meeting on Monday, March 9th, about our OA target. But for now, it is still estimated at 5.5 million. With that, we have 13 projects programmed this federal fiscal year that amount to over 8.1 million. So if all projects obligate, we exceed the target and we're good to go. With this is the note that I was talking about. So during that April TAC meeting, we are having a clear and honest answer as to whether each project will meet the federal fiscal year deadline of September 30th. The options are if the project sponsor says they will not obligate, you will be granted a one-time administrative extension, which would need to obligate by July 1st the following year. If a project sponsor states that they will obligate and fails to do so, those funds will be forfeited and reprogrammed towards the highest ranked project on the contingency list. This is going to be part of, we're looking to do an in-person only meeting to have a complete talk about the project status and move from there. Next are the program projects in 2026. Yep.
Are there any questions about the April TAC meeting?
Yeah, sorry.
we hope to see you all here.
I was gonna throw a reminder in. Yeah. Okay. Now, these are the projects where at the next TAC meeting we will be discussing. As you can see, none have obligated yet. You know, Benton City is not here, but we can just go down the list of jurisdictions and get a status of those projects. So we can start with Benton County, or Badger Road, and go to County Well. And give an update on those.
Sorry, mic issues. The Badger County, we are hoping to get construction scheduled for this year. So it's with a consultant right now. As far as I know, it's still on schedule for construction. And then the other one is County Well Road Phase 3. That should be P obligated hopefully soon.
Okay, so as far as the dates that are listed, May and March, are those both still on target or should those be shifted a little bit?
Badger, it's probably more in the summer than May. May is probably too soon. And County Well, I think we just submitted that, so I'm not sure. I think is that with local programs? Yeah, it's with local programs, so we should get PE obligated whenever we get that back.
Sounds great. Okay.
Alright.
Actually,
I would probably say maybe April.
okay. And then I did miss the County Route 12 down at the bottom, the italicized project. It's listed.
County Route 12. That one. That's with a consultant. They are on track to submit the PS&E this month for construction obligation, and construction is expected in the summer.
Okay. Perfect. I'll leave that at July then. Thank you, Christina.
Welcome.
All right, now on to Franklin County, the Taylor Flats, the R170. I believe that's it for Franklin County. Any updates on those?
I don't see any issue us getting the PE obligated for R170. Jeff is on the line, so if he has anything counter to this, feel free to pipe up, Jeff. As far as the Taylor Flats all-weather improvements, we'll know more by next month where we're at with that, but we're hopeful that we're going to have that obligated in August, like we have it, like we stated. It just depends. We're looking to ramp up some staff. If we get what we're looking for, we should be in pretty good shape. But we'll know for sure probably next month whether we're going to make it to obligated or not.
Sounds great. Thanks, Craig. All right, on to Prosser, the Byron Road.
Yeah, the Byron Road obligation package is at local programs right now. Then Alexander Court Phase 2, I believe, was programmed for 2028, but we have the PE packet sent in to local programs on that one. So hopefully within the next month, we'll have both of those obligated for PE.
Perfect. Awesome. That's great news. I will make sure to include that Alexander Court in the table. Go from there. Thank you, Marty. Okay, going down to Richland, the SR 240 Aaron Drive, Carlo, and also the systemic pedestrian. Sorry.
Yep. SR 240 Aaron, we'll have that obligated in April. We have our we have to do some council action stuff on March 17th, and then we can move forward with getting the obligation done with WashDOT. With systemic pedestrian safety crossing improvements, that'll need to get pushed out a few months, probably June. We're just falling a little behind on getting some of the PE obligation's easy because it's in-house staff, but we just need some time to put it together for WashDOT.
Sounds good. Thank you, Carlo.
Yep.
Then Heath Kennewick, the two projects, East Columbia and the KID right of way.
Yeah, both of these projects went to council last week and not last week, I think it's 2 weeks ago, got mayor's signature. And then they were sent off to highways and local programs last week. So we're just waiting for the obligation letter for both these projects. Hopefully it'll come in the next week or two. So I think, yeah, we should be able to meet the March deadline on those.
That's great. Thank you. And then we can move on to the 2027 table. Roscoe's favorite. Are there any projects on here that might be able to obligate in 2026, or are those looking like the targets that we have?
Yeah, Byron Road was programmed for 2027 construction, but we're pushing to hopefully get this obligated this year. But we'll wait and see.
Sounds great. Any other discussion on any projects or any sorts of this?
Tanner, this is Heath. We're probably going to try to accelerate that KID pathway one to be constructed this year too.
Okay. Sounds great. And again, if you state your estimated obligation date and it's obviously in 27, you aren't going to get penalized if it's for this year. So sounds great. All right, thank you, everyone.
I have one thing, so between now and next month, Tanner or myself will be in contact with you, just as potential, we want to make sure that we have options if some people are shifting their projects, and we will be reviewing the pavement, or we'll be, reviewing the preservation call for project results and seeing if you have obligated that project already. So we can have a ready to go list, so you know next month if you need to have a project fill in your tip, things like that.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay, last call for questions or comments. If not, we're gonna move on to 7B. All right, we're moving. 7B, project submissions for National Highway Freight Program funding consideration, and that is.
Perfect. Yeah, so this was coordinated over several of the past months about the regional submittal for the National Highway Freight Plan funding consideration for federal fiscal years 2027 to 2032. On the 27th of February, last Friday, BFCOG submitted the regional package, which consisted of 10 projects, as you can see below. Those are the projects that were submitted in the table. The priority project list was listed in alphabetical order. If you have any questions about this, hopefully we receive some information in the late summer that some of these projects might be maybe potentially awarded for funding. And with that too, sorry, there is the FinCIB funding opportunity. Those projects are due tomorrow at 5 o'clock to the Freight Mobility Strategic Investment Board. Similar projects that they're requesting. If you have any questions about that, or we're not in the know of that, please feel free to reach out, but that's just a reminder for everyone.
All right, any questions or comments? I'm hearing none, so we're gonna move on to item 8, public comment, and this is a second opportunity for members of the public that are attending this meeting. Yeah, maybe David. Did you just unmute yourself? Is that? No.
Yeah, I'd like to make just one comment. I really appreciate how thoroughly you consider like its transportation plans that and go into the detail of them. That I think that's going to make a huge difference over the years, and it will eliminate some of the possible mistakes or discrepancies a little bit. So good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. No comments, so we're gonna move on to member comments. This is item 9 in our agenda, and we'll go. I get my cheat sheet. Thank you. All right, so we'll start with Benton-Franklin Transit. Kevin, do you want to give us an update?
Yeah, no real update other than we're starting to put together a regional transit group that won't include any of the jurisdictions at this time, but really what we're looking to do is bolster coordination between us, Walla Walla, even some of the counties down in Oregon, to again improve regional connections. So that's one of the main focuses of BFT at the moment. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to Benton County, Christina or Matt.
Well, I'm a little lost here what I'm supposed to tell you, to be honest.
So
What
we
kind
use
of-
this time, just some brief updates on activities that related to transportation that you may want to share with the group. And it's okay if today you're just not prepared for it.
I know we have a lot of projects that we plan to have out this summer. I just don't know what typically is relevant to this group. I mean, but we have a lot of projects planned. We'll be having a very busy summer.
Okay, it's always good to know what areas to what. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm like, I don't know.
It's really okay. Okay, we're moving on to City of Tennewick. Keith.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. Let's see, we had our bid opening for Bob Olson and 15th Signal. It had a pretty good turnout. 7 bidders going after this project, and got a good price on that. Expect to see activity in the summertime on that to try to coincide with Kennewick School District. We're getting our pretty large BST contract out this Sunday. A little weary about it with all the activity, the oil prices going up. So had at the last minute throw some alternatives to try to protect my engineer's estimate on that. But we'll be getting that out this Sunday. It's almost, I think it's around $900,000. We're going to be doing a lot of the older neighborhoods around the Kennewick Municipal Golf Course between Kennewick Avenue and 10th Avenue on the east side of 395, and then also Vancouver. And then at the end of this month, we're going to be getting our overlays out for the summer as well, which we're going to be doing Canal Drive between Edison and Ballland, and then South Ridge from Hildebrand to Ridgeline. So that's about it for transportation projects.
Thank you. What about City of Crosson? Marty?
Yeah, in design for a couple of TBD projects and a couple of sidewalk projects that will be constructed early summer. That's about it.
Thank you, Marty. City of Richmond, Carlo?
Yeah, thank you. We just got our survey release for our transportation system plan. So if you work or drive in or live in Richland, please take that survey and give us your input. South George Washington Way intersection improvements, we're continuing through with some construction stuff like the landscaping, and we'll finish up with some of our sign work that we still need to do out there, but we're really close to being done with that. We're also going to have our paving project on South George out this summer. We're getting close to finishing that up. We'll have our pavement preservation projects out either this month, end of this month, or beginning of next month. That's our HMA overlays, our microsurfacing and slurry contracts. And we're still working through right-of-way for Downtown Loop and for our Dupertail corridor projects. So it's taking a little bit of time, but hopefully we'll be done before the beginning of summer. So that's all I got.
Good, very good. It was Richmond, Roscoe.
Thanks, Maria. So SR 224 Red Mountain project construction continues. There won't be any real changes in the detour until probably June. So that area, they're working between Rupert and Keene Road. So there's a detail around that. They've started between 62nd and North 62nd. Gross Cup. No, excuse me. Rupert Road and North 62nd, they're working in that area now where you'll have some flaggers and one-way traffic going through that. We did award phase 2 of the Red Mountain project on Tuesday night. That was the last 1,500 feet of pathway that was taken out of the main project until DNR and WashDOT could complete the transfer of the right of way. So that was done. So that got awarded. And then we opened bids on our Keene Road overlay project. It's set to go to council to get awarded on March 17th, but $87 a ton for asphalt. So haven't seen that in a while. That's all for West Richland.
Thank you. Franklin County, Craig or Jeff?
Oh, there we go.
Yes, North Railroad Avenue starts construction next month. That's probably the largest thing on our list. And, we're just working on our other targets for obligation as well as funding opportunities and getting, staff up and going. That's all I have.
Thank you. Portland Pasco, Adam, do you have any comment to it?
Nope, just happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. BOD, Phil.
The only thing I can think of is not really or not within BFCOG region, but if anybody travels I-90 over Vantage Bridge, that construction has restarted. So it's down to 2 lanes, 1 in each direction. There will be some exceptions on the big holiday weekends, Memorial Day, July, and Labor Day. They'll open all lanes back up during those weekends. And we typically see Friday afternoons, evenings, and Sunday afternoons, evenings can have some significant backup. So just keep that in mind and probably want to avoid that area during those times. I think that's all I have unless folks have any questions for me.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, and I think I've covered everybody that is here except for Pasco. The one item of note for Pasco is council has adopted the comprehensive safety action plan. And that allows us to submit an application for funding for HSIP funds. So anyway, that's the newest thing in the works. Thank you.
We have something to.
Oh yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
BFCOG.
No problem. So next month we are doing in person only. Just want to make that very clear. It's and also what we've started, I'm not sure if it wasn't relayed in the meeting invite. We're doing a coffee TAC talk to increase engagement. This is 30 minutes before the TAC meeting. We will provide coffee and discuss any type of topic, whether it's related to work or not, just to kind of encourage engagement and create opportunities between BFCOG staff and TAC members. So that will be in person only too, even when we run hybrid meetings. And then the last one is that I apologize for if anybody joined Microsoft Teams on the meeting invite, not sure what happened there. But I'm going to cancel that meeting invite and resend out a placeholder invite and then update every month that only includes the Zoom link. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Did I miss anybody else? I will get better at this, I promise. All right. I don't see I have missed anybody. Item 10, we talked about next meeting. So again, in person, April 2nd, 11 a.m. But if you come at 10:30, we can have discussions and coffee. And With that, we move on to item 11. Adjournment. And this meeting is now closed. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Maria, one